What's up, guys? I'm Landon Donovan, and you're watching This Week in MLS.
Wow, two big returns this week. We got Landon Donovan coming back, and Calen Carr is back.
Did somebody sign me?
Oh my gosh.
Did a team pick me up?
Yep.
I've been waiting for my phone to ring.
Listen.
Reception's really bad in here, so I wasn't sure if maybe, some of these teams are trying to reach out to me.
Probably.
There's a thing going on. Landonitis. Stephen Keel, James Riley, everybody who works for MLS is like trying to get back onto a team. Heath Pierce has been lobbying.
You got to stay healthy though. That's the.
I'm hoping some scouts will start showing up to our Thursday night men's league games.
Okay.
Hasn't happened yet.
I'll pull some strings.
Okay.
I'll see what I can do. Glad you're back with us, buddy. All right. Well, we're going to get back to that other guy who returned to the Galaxy shortly, but first we're going to take it out to Dallas, where the Rapids did something no team has done since the Galaxy in August of 2015, and that is beat Dallas at home. They get the 1-0 win. The Rapids, led by Tim Howard, 7 saves, ended a 4-game winless streak. Calen, I was at this game.
Good atmosphere?
It was awesome atmosphere.
We're getting ready for
Dallas
Tuesday.
Spears, and that was my sense because they rested. Like Mauro Diaz didn't get the start. I did get the sense that they were more preparing for Open Cup, their match on Tuesday against the Revs.
ESPN
they
game.
were very
First time Open Cup final has been
it's a
broadcast
big deal.
on ESPN. That'd be cool.
But they were a little flat. So. How do you feel about that? Do you think this is obviously a huge win for Colorado, bigger win for them than I think a loss for Dallas.
Dallas is in a good spot, comfortable near the
Yeah.
top of the table right now, and you only get so many chances to fight for a trophy.
Mm-hmm.
They're having it at home on Tuesday. That's gonna be a big one, but big win for Colorado. Dallas is 10-0-4 at home, the best home record in the league. They've got a goal differential of plus 20.
Which is ridiculous.
In Frisco. So to step in there is no easy task and get a win. They didn't in Colorado did it without Gashi, Papa, and Bobby Burling all out. So they were missing some players as well. I tell you what, I keep talking about this Colorado team. I've given them the edge over Dallas in the playoffs. I just think they're better suited for playoff soccer, especially if they get some home games in that cold weather and altitude. I really, really like this Colorado team.
So once the postseason starts, I mean, you don't think they're going to catch up to Dallas in the standings at this point?
I like Dallas. They have so many different weapons. I mean, they still look strong even with Barrios and Diaz on the sidelines. They've gotten, I think, 6 different goal scorers in their last 3 games. So they've got a lot of different weapons. I think that suits them better for the Supporter Shield race. I just wonder about when they get to the playoffs, how will they fare against some of the maybe tougher teams like Colorado that I think defensively maybe have a little better unit.
So we spent a lot of time talking about Landon Donovan's return last week, and he made his triumphant return in Los Angeles on Sunday against Orlando, and man, did the Galaxy feed off his return, dominating Orlando 4-2, Calen. This was a impressive performance on all fronts.
Yeah, Orlando was a little bit spent. They'd had a long trip from Montreal where they had a great result midweek and then show up. They get Kyle Larin back and Molino. Molino scores the first goal of the game. They get off to a great start, but then kind of lose their legs. And the Galaxy do what they do best. The Galaxy teams have always been deadly on the counterattack, start to finish.
And Gio Dos Santos is playing really, really well right now. What did he say after the game? That this is his best moment?
The
his
best
moment
of his career. I can't do it in his accent, but he really is. I mean, he's feeling confident. Everything he's touching is going in. He's got that sort of calm around the goal that you see. He's been chipping keepers left and right in the league. I think when Landon comes into the lineup and those guys get going a little bit more, I think it'll be interesting to see how those pieces fit together. I know Matt, the armchair analyst, he's got an interesting article about that right now. I think he's a bit skeptical about how it all fits together.
Particularly the Dos Santos and Keane playing together.
I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, even when you look at this last game in their defense, Dos Santos breaks through and he gives the little tap to the side to Keane. So there is a relationship there. I think that might be a bit overblown in my book.
All right, well, let's take a look at the Western Conference table. 3 out of the 4 top teams picked up all 3 points for the Galaxy with 5 games left. 2 of those are against Dallas. What do you think? Can they kind of move their way up to the top of the table, Calen?
I don't think it's going to happen for the Galaxy. I don't think it really matters, though.
Yeah.
They're not a team that needs to get home field advantage throughout the playoffs to be able to make a deep run. They've got a wealth of talent. I think the issue for them is to get healthy. They need to get Steven Gerrard back. They need him healthy. And then getting the pieces fitting together. So having these guys time to get into a little bit of a rhythm with Robbie Keane now back into the lineup, Landon coming in. And then really, I think it's not so much about the stars. I think in the playoffs, it needs to be who's going to step up for them. I think Boateng's an option that you're going to see do well for them in the playoffs. And then Sebastian Lletget, I think quietly over the last month has been really good. He's been growing in confidence, and he hasn't contributed with goals and assists, but he's been playing a lot better for those who are watching close.
All right, so as I mentioned, 3 out of the top 4 teams won. The one team that didn't, though, RSL losing to Portland. And for Portland, it seems like they kind of now have a stranglehold on that 6th spot in the playoffs. Do you think they're going to stay there?
I do. They've given themselves a little bit of breathing room, and then a bad result for both Seattle and San Jose tying that game. That does neither of them any favors. It's starting to slip away. It's still mathematically possible, but those teams need to get on a roll and get on a roll fast.
All right, we're going to take it out to New England, where there is a new number 1 team out east after the Revs beat NYCFC 3-1, and with their loss and Toronto's win over Chicago, Toronto now sits 2 points ahead of New York. We're going to start with NYCFC, though. Winless in their last 5 road matches. What's the problem? What is the problem on the road for this team?
Well,
they mystify me.
Let's give New England some credit. You know, New England deserves some credit. I thought they were dead in the water, and then over the last week, they beat Colorado 2-0, and then dismantle NYCFC 3-1. So their movement has been actually the key for them. They look a lot more dynamic in recent weeks. They were a bit stagnant before, and now you're seeing, especially with Juan Agudelo, I thought he had one of his best games this last game. You know, his movement was excellent, gets the goal. But then also a little bit, I love that extra effort play he does where he slides to keep the ball in play, and then Fagundes is able to finish it. You see Lee Win getting on the goal. It was actually the first league goal for Lee Win since July.
Wow. And
Fagundes since April.
So
getting those 2 guys going is great for them. But there's a logjam because Orlando won, DC won, and New England all won. They're all fighting for that last playoff spot.
Okay, so I'm looking at the table right now. Orlando City currently sitting in 6th at 34 points, but New England and DC right there behind them at 33 points. And as you mentioned, like with the guys kind of coming into form for the Revs, is there a chance that they can sneak their way in?
I think so. Jay Heaps deserves a lot of credit. He switched the formation, put Kellen Rowe in there, and that's allowed Lee Win to push further into the attack. You want to get him closer to goal, and it's paying off for them. And I think they really have been able to figure out putting their creative players in a little bit of different positions, and it's sort of unlocked their attack where they're able to, you know, not just play direct balls, but keep the ball on the ground, and they're seeing the dividends right now. It's going to come down to the wire. I think this East is going to be really exciting, especially to see who gets that top spot, and then also at the bottom as well.
Well, there were plenty of other games you could have seen if you subscribed to MLS Live. And Calen, let's talk about the Red Bulls now, because they were up 2-0 in the 89th minute and then end up with the 2-2 draw. And Bradley Wright Phillips after the game did not hold back his frustrations with this.
Let's take a listen to that sound.
Let's hear the sound.
I don't see a pattern. It's unacceptable though. It's rubbish. We keep doing this. We had a chance to go top. Obviously being top right now isn't everything, but come on man. As a team we've got to sort it out. It's embarrassing now.
Rubbish.
Rubbish, yeah.
Rubbish.
Yeah.
It was rubbish.
It didn't mince his words. I mean, this has happened to them. Not the first time, not the second time, third time. I think they've left 18 points late in games on the board. And so it is concerning because you don't want to have that come into the team's psyche where you get late into a game and you get late in the season, closer to the playoffs, and you're like, can we hold this together?
Is that a mental breakdown? I mean, is that just sort of getting lazy, not finishing games off? Like, where does that come from? Because a couple weeks ago, you were sitting here saying that the Red Bulls were the best team in the East, but for me, if you can't finish games, then there's a massive problem. So
well, look where they still are, though.
Yeah,
You know?
fair.
And I will say, like, the end of MLS games are always crazy. Like, there's going to be goals scored. Teams do push. They throw numbers forward. Sasha hit the post a couple times in this one. They got a little bit unlucky. If they could have gotten that extra goal, that's the best way to punish teams and close games.
Sure.
But I do think they need to be a little bit more pragmatic late in games. I'm sure Jesse and the gang are going to be working on that.
All right, time now for everybody's favorite segment. At least it's mine. Anyway.
Did you see
that?
that?
Did you see that? Calen, since you've been absent for a while, I'm gonna let you go first.
Well, I like the Yellow Van Dam and Alan Gordon celebration. Beautiful goal. I think it went off his shin or something though, but nice build up. But I don't think Yellow Van Dam had seen the scouting report on Alan, because they went up for the chest bump and he got completely flattened.
Yeah, mine is.
What's up?
Tom Dwyer and Sydney LaRue had their baby, and they named it Cassius Cruz, which is like the coolest name ever. And that baby is so adorable. It's going to be like the most genetically blessed child ever. So congrats to those guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's my. Did you see that? Because it's worth seeing. Really
Babies
is.
are taking over Instagram. You know it.
Your shout out was for a couple kids a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Boniac's kids.
We're a family-friendly show, guys, in case you didn't know. All right, Calen, time to get to our Facebook Live question. You ready for this?
Yeah.
You're gonna bring the heat?
Yep.
Okay, so Ian Fuchs wants to know.
What do you got, Ian?
Is Josie Altidore the most informed striker in MLS right now? Playing very well.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, Sebastian Giovinco goes down and you think that maybe Toronto FC is dead in the water. In fact, they are actually continuing to rise. Another goal, another assist in Chicago. I like how he kind of sags off a little bit waiting for the cutback. Good first touch and goal. That's the sign of a confident striker. Josie has been excellent, which is a good sign not only for Toronto FC fans, but for U.S. national team.
Absolutely, yeah. He's been playing really, really well. Ian, hope that answers your question, buddy. Thanks for watching us. Calen.
Oh yeah, we've got.
What do you got there?
I've got a shout out that I got to give. I got a nice note. Not everybody is, going digital these days. I got it's not handwritten, but it's typed letter.
A letter, like an.
It's from Brian Yeager in Palm Harbor, Florida. Pretty awesome. Thanks for the note, Brian. He said he started watching the Premier League a few years ago, really got into it. His wife and him went to the inaugural New York City FC game. What an incredible experience. 65,000 people on their feet the whole time. Now he's watching all the games on MLS Live.
Aww.
Sent me a picture of his 1-year-old daughter who's like loving soccer. She's going to be a future women's national team player.
More babies.
So shout out to Brian. Yeah. Awesome.
There's this very like baby themed show today.
I'm feeling the love.
That was really nice.
Yeah.
That was actually really nice. I was in Dallas this weekend. I just want to give a couple quick shout outs to Bailey and Josh and Art, the Dallas Beer Guardians. Thank you so much for taking such good care of us. You guys are awesome. It was great.
Are you siding with Dallas over Houston?
Listen, we're not going to get into this right now. We're not. Well, we can talk about this later. Guys, thank you so much for watching This Week in MLS. Make sure you stay tuned to MLSsoccer.com for all your MLS updates. We will see you next week. Unless you get sick again.
I'm good.